Good evening. I call to order this June 7th meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council. And pursuant to the policy and procedures adopted by the City Council relative to virtual meetings, I have determined that it's not feasible for the City Council and I to meet together physically tonight. And due to the Safer at Home order, all council members are participating virtually. Council members will vote by roll call. When a member is recognized, they'll raise their hand and state your vote. Would the city clerk call the roll, please?
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Mundy.
Here.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you. Would you please join the City Council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you very much. Tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of the following items. We have an item recognizing the marketing and communication staff. There's 7 zoning petitions, an item relating to a voluntary annexation, an item designating property as a local historic landmark, an item renewing a certificate of public convenience and necessity, an item related to the Plaza Apartments, and 4 items relating to boards and commissions. The zoning petitions, the voluntary annexation, and the local historic landmark designation items are listed as public hearings. When these hearings are called, persons will be given an opportunity to speak virtually. If there is opposition to the zoning petitions, the opponents and the proponents will each be given 15 minutes for presentation and 3 minutes to rebut. If no one wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing and the City Council will consider the item. I do want to point out that written comments will be accepted on the public hearing items until 7 p.m. tomorrow, June 8th. Written comments may be sent to the City Clerk's office at P.O. Box 2511, Winston-Salem 27102, or by email to sandrak@cityofws.org. Written comments, if any, will be forwarded to the mayor and members of the City Council. If desired, the appropriate council member, based on the written comments, can make a motion to reconsider an item at a subsequent meeting. We're televising this meeting live tonight on TV 13, and it will be replayed tomorrow at 9 a.m. and again Wednesday at 9 p.m. Of course, copies of our agenda, as well as videos of previous meetings, are always available online at the city's website, www.cityofws.org, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Ms. Kinney, would we have the first item, please?
Item Z1, recognition of service excellence by the marketing and communications TV 13 employees.
We're very proud of our staff, and I think we're going to see a video that highlights this accomplishment, I believe. Ed McNeil is going to introduce this. Excuse me. Ed?
Yes, sir. Mayor Joins, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, members of the City Council. The Telly Awards were created in 1979 as a way to honor local, regional, and cable broadcast, as well now as social media. Annually, they receive nominations from 50 states and 5 continents, and it's my honor to share with you that the City of Winston-Salem received notice last month of receiving 6 national awards for work produced in 2020. Of those honors, 3 are related to COVID-19. 1 is a gold, 2 are the pure solo efforts of 1 videographer, 1 was a video created by a graphic designer and utility staff, and 1 was a video, one now of our employees becomes the producer of 9 Telly Awards in just 3 years of being on our team. Here's a look at the videos.
You too. Like well, buddy. You too. Hit him with
3 generations.
golf family, big golf family.
The Einstein name has been on the scorecards at the Forsyth Championships for 50 years.
I know Dad's played in it his whole life since he's lived in Winston, and now since I turned 18, it's something I get to do, so I enjoy doing that.
Well, my dad started playing in it first. He won it in 1973. And I learned the game from Dad.
This was Brandon's third year qualifying in the Forsyth Championships after moving up from the juniors tournament.
I played in the juniors probably 5 times. That was like the big tournament summer when I was a kid.
He won the Forsyth Junior, and he lost by 1 last year in this. So he's come close. He's right there. Hopefully he'll get a chance this year.
With that chance, Brandon added another trophy to the Einstein collection, winning this year's Forsyth Championship with a 9-stroke lead.
Bingo.
But winning isn't what brings these 3 men to the tee box.
It's something you can do for a lifetime, and there just aren't many sports you can do that.
That's like the biggest thing that golf is trying to promote, is just like having fun, going out there and enjoying time with your family and friends.
There he is.
With the pandemic this year, Brandon and Greg were able to spend more time together on the course before the big tournament.
Since our season got cut short, I got to leave my team, but I picked up Dad, so that'll be fun, practicing with Dad the whole summer. Now hopefully this pays off and we can finish 1 and 2.
Brandon and I play a lot of golf, especially with the COVID situation. We've gotten to play a lot over the last 3 months because he really didn't have a summer golf season. He normally would be traveling and I'd be going with him, but we've gotten to play a lot together, so it's neat.
The pandemic didn't hold this father-son duo back or Freddie to come out and support his son and grandson.
He'll be out following us probably, if not today, tomorrow and Sunday.
With 50 years in the books for these men, Brandon hopes to continue that legacy for as long as he can.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I hope I stay in Winston my whole life so I can play in it. That's something that I can't put in words, to be honest with you. That's something I hope I can do with my kids one day too.
Winston-Salem.
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 Our city may be shut down,
but we're on the job.
but we're on the job.
But we're on the job.
Delivering essential services.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
We are one team.
As one united team.
Committed to excellence.
And we are here for you.
For you.
Y estamos aquí para usted. For you.
No wipes in pipes. Throw them in the trash instead. Paper towels, facial tissues, and so-called flushable wipes can cause sewage backups. Ugh, remember, no wipes in pipes.
Soon, normal begins to return to Winston-Salem. Traffic and the commute will restart. Reduced services re-emerge. Small businesses reopen. But COVID-19 is still being spread. Masks protect you, others, and everyone. Frequent and thorough hand washing makes a difference. But nothing is more critical in the fight against COVID-19 than social distancing. 6 feet apart. It's how we beat COVID-19. Social distancing works. Fight the spread.
Ed, I think you're muted, buddy.
Well, I was trying to enjoy the claps there, Mayor. It's been an interesting year. I know you, as well as other members of the City Council, saw us out doing that work during 2020 with the COVID pandemic going on. But I did want to come back and just say thank you, certainly first to all of my staff that is very committed and certainly showed a lot of moxie to continue to be out there and do that work, but also extend a thank you to the city manager for just his continued support of us as we were out there doing a lot of work for the county health department to get the word out there. He understood that, he supported us, and really demonstrated great leadership in helping us to get it done. So thank you, Mr. Garrity.
Thank you, Ed. And again, congratulations to you and your staff. You do an amazing job of covering so many city events and programs. So thank you so much. It's important. I know the City Council and I greatly appreciate being able to share the information with the citizens. Thank you, Ed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We have the next item, please.
Item Z2, public hearing on zoning petition of City of Winston-Salem from Forsyth County LIL to Winston-Salem LIL. Property is located on the west side of Walberg Road, south of Business Park Drive, containing approximately 12.45 acres, located in the southeast ward. Planning Board recommends approval of the petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, do we have anyone signed up to be heard on this item?
Mayor, we do not.
Thank you. I will declare the public hearing closed. And this is in Council Member Taylor's ward. I'd recognize Councilmember Taylor if you're ready for a motion or if you need a presentation.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, I've received no opposition to this item as well. So therefore, I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W-3466.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Thank you, Councilmember. Any discussion? All right, we'll go to the roll call. Yes vote approves this zoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yeah.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. And we'll go to item Z3.
Item Z3, public hearing on zoning petition of City of Winston-Salem from Forsyth County LIS to Winston-Salem LIS. Property is located on the east side of Walberg Road, north of Shirley-Weaver Road, containing approximately 92.62 acres, located in the southeast ward. Planning Board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, do we have anyone signed up on this?
Mayor, we do not.
Thank you. I'll declare the public hearing closed. And again, recognize Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council again. There's been no opposition to this item. So therefore, I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W-3467.
Thank you, sir. Second.
Second, Scipio.
Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. Any discussion? All right, to the roll call, yes vote approves this zoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
And Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion is approved unanimously. Item Z4.
Item Z4, public hearing on zoning petition of City of Winston-Salem from Forsyth County LIL to Winston-Salem LIL. Property is located on the west side of Union Cross Road between Carl L. Clark Road and Axel Drive, containing approximately 70.50 acres, located in the southeast ward. Planning Board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, is anyone in opposition to this rezoning?
No, Mayor, there is not.
Thank you. I declare the public hearing closed, and I recognize again Councilmember Taylor.
I also move for the statement of approval of the statement of consistency for the approval of this item, and 2, W-3475.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, McIntosh.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Any further discussion? All right, to the roll call, yes vote approves this rezoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yay.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a unanimous approval. Item Z5.
Item Z5, public hearing on zoning petition of MF Stires Ferry LLC from GBS to RS9S. Property is located on the east side of Stires Ferry Road, south of Laura Road, containing approximately 37.01 acres, located in the West Ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, has anyone signed up in opposition to this?
Mr. Mayor, no one has signed up in opposition. We do have 4 individuals representing the petitioner.
Okay, thank you. Since there is no opposition, I'll declare the public hearing closed. I recognize Councilmember Clark.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for the approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W3470.
Second,
Second.
Scipio.
Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to the roll call vote. Yes vote approves this zoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
And Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Great, thank you. That motion is approved. Item Z6.
Item Z6, public hearing on zoning petition for Lane Dental Properties LLC from LOS to IBS. Property is located on the northwest side of Country Club Road between Mozart Avenue and Seaborn Avenue, containing approximately 1.5 acres, located in the West Ward. Planning board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, is anyone in opposition to this rezoning?
Mayor, there is not.
All right, thank you very much. I'll declare the public hearing closed and again recognize Councilmember Clark.
Yeah, Mayor, I'll make a motion if it is that I would like.
All right. We're kind of losing you a little bit, Councilmember Clark.
He looks frozen.
I move for the approval of 1, the statement of consistency, and for the approval of this item, and 2, W34-3.
Second.
What's that?
Thank you.
You ready?
We have a second. Councilmember Clark, go ahead with your comments.
Well, anyway, just real quickly, I think there's 8 or 9 kids going to be in here and do this. It's all messed up here too. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's the internet on the west side.
James, you're the only one I see moving.
That's where Clark, you're kind of breaking up on us.
Reboot.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, well, I made the motion to approve it.
Yeah, we've had a motion in seconds. You can comment on it if you'd like, Councilmember Clark.
No, that's all right. Continue.
All right, okay. Any discussion of the item? All right, we'll go to the roll call vote. A yes vote approves the rezoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark. Since he made the motion, I'm going to assume it's a yes vote. Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Clark. We'll now go to item Z7.
Item Z7, public hearing on zoning petition of Barack Oil Company from HBS to RM12S. Property is located on the south side of Polo Road between North Cherry Street and Dalton Street, containing approximately 3.95 acres, located in the North Ward. Planning board recommends approval of the petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, is there anyone in opposition to this rezoning?
Mayor, there is not.
Thank you. I'll declare the public hearing closed and I'll recognize Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you. Anytime that we showing the community that someone's building houses, I think we need to do a short presentation, Mr. Murphy, on it. Thank you.
Mr. Murphy.
If you'll bear with me just a second as I navigate these three screens I'm looking at. Okay. Can everyone see that first of all?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is case 3469. The petitioner is B. Roth Oil Company, and this is a petition to rezone 3.95 acres on the south side of Polo Road between North Cherry Street and Dalton Street from GBS to RM12S. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow on the vicinity map. This is the same property outlined in yellow on the aerial photo. It is a former commercial site, and if you'll see, a vast majority of it is currently vegetated. This is looking at the subject property across Polo Road. This is looking north across Polo Road at the commercial property across the street. This is looking east along McCandless Street. The site would be to the left. And this is looking north along May Street, and the site is in the background behind the zoning sign and the yellow directional sign. This is the subject property shown in the North Suburban Area Plan update approved in 2014. It recognized the existing commercial zoning and commercial use that had been in place on the property. This is the site plan associated with this case. There are six residential buildings proposed on the site, with the taller three-story buildings being up closer to Polo Road and feathering back down to two-story buildings as you get down along McCandless Street. There is also an amenity area with a pool and clubhouse, and the appropriate buffers are shown. I will note, and we'll get to this in a second whenever we do the analysis, but there is a revised condition of approval that we will need to get confirmation of. It's being volunteered by the petitioner, but they are proposing to install a decorative fence along this eastern property line with the church that is located to the east of the site. This is an illustrative site plan that shows the parking, the landscaping, the buildings, the amenity area, et cetera. These are some elevations of some similar buildings that have been built in other projects that the developer proposes to place here. And these are some building elevations for the two-story buildings as they feather back down to McCandless Street. In summary, case W3469, if approved, would provide needed missing middle housing in an appropriate location. This proposal would redevelop a vacant commercial site. The site is located near a transit stop and will have access to sidewalks and dedicated bicycle lanes. The site is ideally situated near major employment and education centers. As I did mention earlier, the petitioner has worked with one of the surrounding property owners to develop an additional condition, and it needs to be added as A under other requirements. A decorative fence at least 4 feet in height shall be installed and maintained along the shared property boundary with PIN 6827726759. This case was heard by the planning board at their May 13th, 2021 public hearing. There were no speakers in opposition, and the planning board voted 8-0 to recommend approval of this request. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. And
before we do the questions, could we have the petitioner, if you would unmute and give your name and address for the record, and just state affirmatively that you are agreeing to the revised site plan condition of the decorative fence?
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Stephen Owen with Stimmel Associates. On behalf of the petitioner, our address is 601 North Trade Street here in Winston-Salem, 27320 or 27101. And yes, we do affirm that we are in agreement with that.
Thank you. Any questions now of Mr. Murphy? All right, seeing none, I'll recognize Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, I want to make the motion and then offer a couple of comments. I move for approval of one, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and two, W3469.
Second, McIntosh.
Motion and second. Please go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Again, we're talking about possibly or right at 43 units. That area of Polo has been vacant for many years. It used to be a dealership of some kind, trucking, and then it became a facility for restaurant equipment on the corner. Both of them were torn down. And back in 2014, the city partnered with Creative Economy, and we did a charrette at the event center down the street across from the detention center. And we had over 60 community stakeholders to participate, whether that was Garner or West, the carton people, the packaging people, and Wake Forest and everyone, as well as the community, University Area Association and others, a lot of young people. The one thing they, just like in an area plan that they wanted to see, was some sort of middle housing, and hopefully some commercial development is also after it stays there. For those of you that don't know, we're seeing a housing bust in the university area. We have new housing going up on Polo, going towards the university from Cherry. And we also have had the 44 houses built across the street from where this development is taking place. And now we're going to have 43 more. And there have also been other developers that have called that want to build housing, multifamily, multi-units on Cherry Street as well. Again, I think this is a great opportunity. It's not a lot, but it gives us an opportunity to add to the bucket. Thank you, of affordable housing or / housing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor McIntosh.
Yeah, just being a neighbor to Dee Dee in this area, I love to see vacant property turned into housing. That's what we want to see. And it's nice to see the trend in an area that has lost business and population since the shutdown of Winterker Park. I think all the things that are going on there have rekindled people's interest in this area as a place to do business. So I'm very excited about it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to roll call. A yes vote approves this rezoning. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Clark is frozen up.
You'd think they'd have broadband out there.
Councilmember Mundy.
Yeah.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor. Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
And Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
And Mr. Clark, we'll come back to you.
I think he needs a hot spot.
You can give us a thumbs up.
Or turn your video off.
Yeah. Councilman Clark, can you hear us and vote?
He needs tech support.
I'm going to declare that as unanimous.
Yes.
Yes, okay, I got it. Very good. Thank you, Councilman Clark. That motion is approved.
You can't hear me?
No,
Yeah.
we got you now.
I'm not on mute.
All right, item Z8.
Item A, public hearing on zoning petition of Living Word Fellowship Incorporated from RS9 and MH to RM5S. Property is located on the west side of Pythagoras Road, north of Bluebird Lane, containing approximately 16.
Lord, what's happened?
Located in the North Ward. Planning Board recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, is there anyone in opposition signed up on this one?
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council, there are two individuals who are signed up in opposition, and we also have representatives of the petitioner here.
All right, we will hold a public hearing on this one, so we'll go to the proponents first. Proponents should have 15 minutes for presentation. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Scott Miller with MLA Design Group. I'm representing the owner, Living Word. We would just like to make ourselves available should anybody have any questions tonight.
All right. Is there another speaker?
Mr. Mayor, that was only speakers for the proponent, and we have two individuals signed up as opposition. It's Ms. McNeil and Ms. Carpenter.
All right, Ms. McNeil, I'd recognize you if you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Come on, unmute me. Okay. Ms. Carpenter is going to do the talking here for us. And we
have a couple of questions that we need to be answered tonight. First of all, we've been told about some kind of bus that's going to come up through here on Edgeware Road. Some of the neighbors, all of us, we had a meeting at my place the other day, and we was talking about it. Is this going to be a city bus coming up through here? Because we already have two bus lines. We have one on Bethabara, right where y'all planning on putting the entrance to these new condos that y'all building, single family homes that y'all want to build. And we have down on Renolda. I don't feel like we need a bus coming up through here. It's already enough traffic coming up through here. We have people up here that elder folks, like I said at the last meeting we had, and we just finally got it cleaned up here over the drug trafficking through Edgeware and Queen Anne Circle. We just don't want any more traffic coming through here. We have enough already. You know, I'm not against. It's not. I'm not against the houses, the single family homes being built. I'm not. None of us are. We just want to know, are they going to interrupt our living in our neighborhood because they putting that there? I mean, we've been out here 25, 30, some people 35 years. We finally got it where we like to keep it, where it's a lot of elder folks up here, like I said, and we got it cleaned up. And they're going to open this street up here. We have the water thing that we talked about in the last meeting. We have on Queen Anne Circle where the water is already, it's coming in the back of the homes over here. And it's flooding over. At Miss Gwen's house, she don't have to have her house packed twice, keep falling off the foundation. I mean, we have took a lot over here. We couldn't get nobody to help us over here one time. For us, our alderman, we couldn't get nobody to come out here and help us. So we formed a neighborhood thing among ourselves and tried to keep it clean up here, keep it drug-free. And we just don't want anything to interrupt that. I mean, you know, they keep telling us the main entrance is going to be off Bethabara Road. Okay, I'm all for that. And I know they're going to open up on Edgeware going up through there, and something they said about Blueberry Lane coming around there. I don't understand all of this, but we just need some people to be on our side to let us know what's really going to happen. Is they going to sell these single family homes and then eventually let Section 8 move in? You know, it's things that we need to know to set our minds free. I mean, it's just been a battle out here on Queen Anne and Edgeware Road. And Winona, all of us, we just been trying to do the best we can out here. And like I said, we're not against the single family home, as long as they just do what they say. We don't want the sidewalk. They promised us when they first started this, coming out in the neighborhood, that they weren't gonna take no property away from us. And we just want to know all these things. Are we going to get some speed bumps to keep the traffic down? Or what? I mean, this is something that we need to know as a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McNeil. Is Ms. Carpenter want to speak?
That was me. I was
Ms. Carpenter, I'm sorry.
She was our spokesperson, yes.
I see. Okay, very good. Is there anyone else in opposition that wants to be heard? All right, thank you. We will go back to the proponents. You would have 3 minutes for any rebuttal you would want to give.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Scott Miller with MLA Design Group again. Yes, we've tried to work with the neighbors as best we can. I know they have some issues that are problems that seem to have been caused in terms of water problems behind their house from some off-site areas, not necessarily this property, but some other off-site areas. And they've had some issues in their roadway. We did assure them that we were not proposing to take any additional right-of-way or any property from them down there. And in fact, we have gone, or the petitioner has gone above and beyond with regards to a condition to try to actually increase the amount of stormwater controls that we do on our own property. So quite honestly, what they should see from at least this property is a decrease in the amount of water that comes towards them. We've tried, like I said, to do the best we can. We have made our roadway connection to Edgeware as per the city staff recommendation. And so that does open that up, but hopefully the fact that will no longer be a dead end, that might even help things with regards to some of the issues and problems that these ladies have mentioned. So we're here to help however we can. We're trying to be good neighbors and trying to do the best we can to help resolve some of the issues that they're currently having, although those aren't issues that necessarily we're causing by proposing this development. So just ask for your consideration. Once again, I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll need to come back to you in a bit to get you to affirm the acceptance of the stormwater condition that was added. All right, we'll go back to the opponents. Ms. Carpenter, you would have 3 minutes for any rebuttal you'd like to give.
Okay.
Only thing that we're not getting a clear picture, but like I said, they are trying to work with us, and the community is wanting to work with them. Where he was talking about opening up that street on Edgeware, right there. Okay, it is a drain there, but the water don't drain in there now. And at the last meeting, we was talking about that. They didn't know who was responsible of getting that cleaned out, because we have a trailer park also right where these condos, single family homes going. We have a trailer park there. And so that's going to interfere with their water line. We don't know.
Yeah, we're already getting the overflow.
We're getting the overflow from that. We got a river coming down Queen Anne between the beige house and the white down here on Queen Anne. It looked like a river when it rained. I mean, flowing everywhere.
Heavy rain.
Yeah.
Heavy rain.
When it's heavy rain, it's like, my God, we're trying to figure out what's going on. We can't get no answers. I do come to meetings. I did go to meetings, and I didn't get no satisfaction. When I went to meetings, people were supposed to took my number. They were supposed to get in touch with us. Nobody never got in touch with us out here. So we got among ourselves and started cleaning off places where we can get the water to flow and won't be bagged up. I mean, we up in here doing our part. Can we get some help from y'all, that city council, the mayor, or somebody to help us out here as far as elder people trying our best? We're not against the single family home, long as they stay where they supposed to stay and do what they say they're supposed to do. We're not against it. But everybody up in here is going to be against it if we can't get some help out here. I mean, you know, we human, we pay taxes.
Thank you, Ms. Carpenter. We did have Ernestine Dixon had indicated she'd like to speak. Ms. Dixon, are you on the call? Ms. Dixon, you're on mute, I think.
Yes, sir. Hi, Mr. Mayor. My name is Ernestine Dixon. I live on Queen Anne Circle as well. And I do agree with some of the things that the ladies are saying who live in my neighborhood as well. There has been a very, very bad issue with the water running in the streets as well as behind our house. Also with the speeding, I have already did a petition for the speeding. And I received the information back stating that there is a problem with speeding in this neighborhood. I have not been able to go around the neighborhood because I have been sick with COVID. So I wasn't able to make the first meeting. That's why I'm making this meeting right here. So my question is, if you all bring in more traffic, that will cause more speeding. What is the city going to do as far as the speeding in this neighborhood? You all are building more, if you all are developing more housing and more apartments in this area.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. The item before the council tonight is a land use decision, and Mayor Pro Tem Adams may want to address that when she makes her comments, of course, but I'm sure there can be follow-up as need be. So I'm going to close the public hearing, and Mr. Murphy, would you please give the report of the planning board, and then we'll bring the petitioner back on to affirm the conditional condition.
Yes, sir. Good evening again, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is a rezoning request of Living Word Fellowship. The site is located on the western side of Bethabara Road, north of Bluebird Lane. And the request is a special use district rezoning request from RS9 and MH to RM5S. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow. You'll notice it is on the west side of Bethabara, in between Edgeware and Bethabara Road to the east. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow with the aerial photo highlighted. You'll see that there is some MH zoning, but predominantly the site is wooded and undeveloped. This is the subject property from Bethabara Road. This is facing south. The subject property is across Bethabara from this image. The subject site, again on Bethabara Road, this is facing north. The site is identified in the distance on the left-hand side of the screen on the west side of Bethabara Road. This is the western terminus of the existing subdivision along Edgewater. The site is in the distance there where the road ends. And this is from Bluebird Lane. The site is located behind those houses. In distance, you see the zoning sign and the arrow pointing to where the site would be located back behind the trees and the houses in this image. This is the subject site outlined, highlighted in the center of the map from the North Suburban Area Plan Update from 2014. It recommends single-family, low-density residential for the subject property. This is the image that is shown. This is the site plan that is shown. You'll see where the connection is being made to Edgeware Road to the west, and where the connection is being made to Bethabara. And you'll see that this is not a direct route. There will be several turns that would get you from the existing subdivision out to Bethabara. And you'll see that these are a number of duplexes shown for the development. In summary, this is an internally oriented infill development that would be permitted on the site with existing services along Bethabara Road. Proposal allows for a mixture of housing types with comparable scale and density to the surrounding neighborhoods. The existing neighborhood connectivity would be improved by extending a public road into the proposed development with access onto Bethabara Road. As was mentioned by the petitioner, there is an enhanced stormwater condition. We inadvertently actually missed that when we were compiling the conditions prior to it going to planning board, but that revised condition language is included in your materials, and the applicant has agreed in writing to manage for the 50-year peak storm event. Before we conclude, we will need concurrence on that from the petitioner, just so we have that on the record. At the planning board public hearing on May 13th, this item was heard. There were 2 speakers in opposition, primarily concerned with stormwater, the increased traffic, and not wanting a sidewalk extended into their neighborhood. The planning board took all of those things into consideration and did vote 8-0 to recommend approval of this request. I will just add one aside or one additional comment as I conclude the presentation. There, actually 2, there was a comment earlier about a bus route, and there is no bus route into this development. There is a bus route that passes along Bethabara Road, and that's in the staff report, but there is no contemplated bus route going down into the neighborhood. And in relation to their concern dealing with sidewalks into the neighborhood, there are sidewalks in the proposed development, but they would stop at the western edge of this project, and there is no plans to extend those sidewalks into the existing development. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Mr. Keith Huff from the Traffic Field Office, who's over stormwater, is also in the meeting. If there are any stormwater questions, I might be able to answer some very high-level ones, but I can't answer any detailed questions.
Thank you. Before we do the questions, could we have the petitioner please come back on and state your name and then state your affirmative acceptance of the condition of managing for the 50-year storm event?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Scott Miller with MLA Design Group. We are acting on behalf of the owner, Living Word Fellowship, and I have been granted the authority to accept the condition that was placed before you tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor McIntosh had a question.
Yeah, this is for Keith Huff. And Keith, it might be instructive, I guess, this conversation has probably already been had, but just for the general public, maybe you could talk a little bit about the amount of water that is allowable to flow off the site after it's developed versus the amount of water that flows off the site in its current state.
Yes, be happy to speak to that, Councilmember McIntosh. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. As far as new developments go, Chapter 75 of the City Code requires a couple of stormwater conditions for new developments of this type. And I'll speak to the traditional requirements of it, and then I'll speak to this 50-year storm that's been required on this particular site. So normally we require peak and volume control management of the 2-year event, the 10-year event, and the 25-year event. And what that means is the site can't discharge any more water than what was originally there. So the discharge rate before development can't be any more than post-development for those particular storms. So the 2, 10, and 25-year storm events. And with this particular site, it was determined that an extra level of protection was needed in the 50. So that gets your more infrequent storm events that unfortunately we have seen in recent years. But in this case, the developer would manage the 2, the 10, the 25, and the 50-year storm event for peak and volume control off the site. And in addition to that, they would be signing an O&M agreement, an operation and maintenance agreement, to maintain the stormwater controls in perpetuity. And they would also pay into a catastrophic failure fund in the event that the stormwater controls became damaged or compromised, that they would be able to get a loan from this catastrophic failure fund to rebuild or maintain the controls further. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, can I try to translate engineering to English? So right now, when a 1-inch rainfall occurs, you guys measure or attempt to measure how much water flows off that site as it is with trees on it and everything else.
Yes, sir.
After a developer comes in and bulldozes and puts in streets, puts in houses, at that point, the developer has to prove to you and to the staff that 1-inch rainfall will not cause any more water than previous to flow onto neighbors.
Correct. They're going to be held to the previous runoff rates and volumes for before it was developed. Yes, sir. Simply put.
And those sort of levels and requirements are set at the state level?
There are base level requirements that are set at the base level. This city council has set forth to go above and beyond what the state requirements are to a more robust level. So you have quality that is set forth by the state, and then you have those more robust quantity revisions or requirements that this council has deemed to set forth for developments.
And this developer is saying, in essence, we see what the state and the city require, and we're going to voluntarily increase the amount of protection in the development.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions of Mr. Huff or Mr. Murphy? All right. Seeing none, I'll then recognize Mayor Pro Tem Adams if you're ready for a motion.
Yes, I will make the motion and comments, Mayor. I move for approval of the statement of consistency for the approval of this item in W3474.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor McIntosh. Please go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes, Ms. McNeil and Ms. Carpenter, my assistant Zena will be calling you in the morning. And Mr. Garrity, Mr. Taylor, Mr. DeCane, any of staff, we will be taking a ride-out visit to see what's going on because it is supposed to storm just like it's doing now for the next 5 or 6 days. Just like we clean up other areas when there are issues with the drains stopping up. If this is major, then, and it's our responsibility, then we need to address the situation. That area, as everybody knows on this end, like some ends of town, as Councilman McIntosh knows, going from Bethabara Road all the way north, northwest, northeast, we do suffer from a lot of stormwater, rain, flooding, flash floods, whatever you want to call it. But it's been like this all my life, and that's over half a century. But unfortunately, we can only do so much. We address it, but what it does is it causes the roads to crumble. You got your sinkholes, you got your all of that. So we'll be looking into that. That goes to say that how important it is that we ensure that we are putting money in our infrastructure in the way of streets and roads, stormwater and runoff. With this item of, I think, 84 units of housing, again, it fills that gap for middle housing. As much as we would want people to build affordable housing, and I don't know what the church is going to do, but right now we in a catch-22 situation like other cities. We just need houses. We need units. And 84 added to the 43 gives us another 112 or whatever, 27 houses added to our very small inventory. So, Mayor, I move for approval of this item.
Good. Thank you. We did have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to the roll call. Yes vote approves this rezoning petition. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy. Councilmember Mundy.
I think he's like Councilmember Clark, bad broadband.
Councilmember Mundy lost power at his house, so he's off the call. So he'll be voted, be shown voting in affirmative since he was not excused from the meeting. Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Item Z9.
Item C9, public hearing on petition for the voluntary annexation of approximately 161.43 acres located on the western side of Sawmill Road and south of Union Cross Road. Petition of Laterra Development Incorporated, recommended by Public Works Committee.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, is anybody signed up in opposition to this annexation?
Mayor, there are not. There are 3 proponents that are here, but I don't believe that they wish to speak.
All right, thank you. I'll declare the public hearing closed then and recognize Councilmember Taylor. This is in the Southeast Ward.
Thank you again, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, members of the council. Every one of us know this morning or this afternoon, we all received an email from a concerned citizen regarding this particular item. Since that time, I've had an opportunity to speak with that citizen and have a conference with him. I believe at this time his concerns have been addressed and the concerns of the neighbors. So I'm confident we're moving forward with this particular item. With that being said, I move for approval of item Z10 or Z9, excuse me.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McIntosh. Any further discussion? Thank you. Go to roll call. A yes vote does approve this voluntary annexation of property into the city of Winston-Salem. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark. Councilmember
Yes.
Clark. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Mundy.
Aye. Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous to approve this annexation. Item Z10.
Item Z10, public hearing and ordinance designating certain property as a local historic landmark, Twin City Motor Company building, recommended by Community Development, Housing, and General Government Committee.
Thank you. I recognize Michelle McCullough, who is going to make a brief presentation on this proposed designation. Ms. McCullough.
Thank you, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, members of City Council. Can everybody hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Here we go. This evening, I'll be presenting to you a local historic landmark application for designation. It will be for the Twin City Motor Company building. The applicant is the Twin City Motor Company Building, LLC, 633 Liberty Street, Winston-Salem. Tax block, lot, and pin as noted up here. It sits on a lot of about 0.52 acres, about a half an acre. The request for designation is the entire exterior, interior of the building, along with the entire tax block lot upon which it sits. Here's a site location map that shows you that. The site is located between Main and North Liberty Streets. And this is a photograph of the site so that hopefully you're all familiar with it. Showing you a little bit of the detail. On January 15th, the State Historic Preservation Office did let the Historic Resource Commission know that they made comment that the application was complete. There were clear statements of integrity and significance. The boundary was justified and the historic architectural context provided was thorough. On May 3rd, the Historic Resource Commission met and heard the application, and they found unanimously that it met or exceeded all the standards or guidelines to establish a local landmark here. Let's see here. The property is, just for information, also located as a contributing structure in our downtown North National Register District. Okay. Bear with me, it is not wanting to move to the next slide. There we go. At the committee meeting last month, I was requested to give just a little bit of a brief history, and I will be very brief so that you can kind of get some knowledge about the building and why we're designating it. It was constructed in 1926, and it is our only existing downtown Winston-Salem building built solely to serve as an automobile dealership and service garage. It is being designated for its architectural significance because it's a distinctive commercial style property designed by a prolific Winston-Salem architect, Northrop and O'Brien. The design with the terracotta on the exterior, the white glazed terracotta, was actually a design that was used by a lot of car dealerships in the 1920s and 30s. So this was kind of a standard for this industry. But that white glazed terracotta, we only have about 2 or 3 other buildings in downtown Winston-Salem that utilize terracotta on their whole facades. So this is very unique for us here. The interiors are mostly open planned. So what's going to go on inside of it will not hurt the integrity of that interior. This building currently right now is being rehabilitated, and it's being rehabilitated in compliance with the Secretary of the Interior standards, and has been reviewed by both the North Carolina State Historic Preservation Office and the National Park Service because they're using both state and federal rehabilitation tax credits. So it has been going through reviews as the work has been being done. Hopefully can go. Just a little bit of history. Frederick D. Tamble started as a Ford salesman in 1911 in the state of Indiana and moved in 1916 to Charlotte to become Ford's branch manager. He quickly decided he didn't just want to be on the payroll, he wanted to own his own company. So in 1917, he acquired his own Ford franchise in Forsyth County. At this time, Ford was basically known for their Model Ts, and they were becoming more and more affordable for the growing middle class. And around 1911, Winston-Salem only had 3 car dealerships. We were still dealing a lot with wagons at that time. In February of 1918, D. Campbell established the Twin City Motor Company and moved to Winston-Salem. He opened his dealership here. He had a sales and service department, and he originally employed 30 to 40 people. By this time in Winston-Salem, the car industry had doubled our showrooms in town. 1922, Twin City Motor Company had also, because the Ford Motor Company had gotten the license to have Lincolns, they had taken over the franchise of the Lincoln Motor Company that year. So he decided to get into selling Lincolns and Fords at that time. His showroom was always on North Liberty, but it was by 1926 that he decided to hire Northrop and O'Brien to build the new building at 633 North Liberty. The building had showrooms, offices, repair department, and hosted a Lincoln Salon series, as you can see the ad on the screen. And this was very important because it attracted a lot of automobile aficionados to our town. Thought you might find it fun just to see what the Model Ts look like. By 1953, DeTamble sold his Ford franchise to the Hull Dubs Company, which in 1966 was proclaimed the world's largest Ford dealer. They had Ford dealerships from Tennessee to North Carolina. The building has always been used for some sort of automobile use. Most of you remember it as having a garage in the bottom floor. So I'll leave you with that picture, and I'll go back. And answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. Any questions, Ms. McCullough? All right, got some thumbs up there. Thank you, Ms. McCullough. It's a very interesting presentation there. This is a public hearing. Is anyone signed to be heard on this? All right, I will declare the public hearing closed and would entertain a motion on this historic designation.
Recommend approval. Larson.
Second, Mundy. Second, Councilor Mundy. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to the roll call. A yes vote does approve designating this structure and land as a historic landmark. Councilmember Larson.
Absolutely yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye with a comment at the end.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Go ahead, Councilmember McIntosh.
Yeah, this I really appreciate the fact that we're given a local landmark status to this building, which will help the developer make the thing work. But I'm really thrilled about the fact that this building is going to now be seen by lots and lots of people. This is one of those buildings in Winston that everybody's wanted to walk through because it's so cool on the outside. Everybody wants to see what the inside looks like. So this is a real win. Sometimes we get a little heartburn about giving landmark status to single family homes that people can't enter. This is going to be the exact opposite. This is going to be a show place. So I'm very excited about it.
Thank you, Councilmember McIntosh. Council members, without objection, I'm going to circle back to item Z8. We lost Councilmember Mundy for a moment there. And Councilmember Mundy, may I ask that you would register your vote on the Z8, which is the zoning petition for the Living Word Fellowship?
Yes, my vote is aye, and sorry for the inconvenience. I've been with and without power, but I think we have it back on for good now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councilmember Mundy. All right, so we'll now go to item Z11. I thought we did do roll call.
Item Z11, second reading on ordinance renewing certificate of public convenience and necessity of One Trolley Pub of North Carolina for operation of one trolley in the city of Winston-Salem, recommended by Public Safety Committee.
Thank you. This is a second reading, and I would recognize Chairman of the Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, Mayor Pro Tem. This item was approved unanimously by Public Safety on May the 10th. Therefore, I move for approval of this item at this time.
Thank you. To a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Any further discussion? All right, we'll go to roll call. A yes vote approves this certificate of public convenience and necessity. Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy.
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you. Item Z12.
Item Z12, consideration of items relating to the Plaza Apartments, resolution authorizing commitment of funding for replacement of stairs and landings at Plaza Apartments, and ordinance amending the project budget ordinance for the city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the fiscal year 2020-2021.
I can't understand what you're saying. So Ben Rao is going to give us a brief presentation on that one.
Good evening, Mayor Joins, Mayor Pro Tempore Adams, and members of the City Council. The item before you tonight is a resolution, a budget amendment to address an urgent need at Plaza Apartments. Plaza Apartments has 78 units of affordable housing located on Manley Street between Haywood Street and Northwest Boulevard. Plaza Apartments are owned by the city of Winston-Salem and leased to the Housing Authority. The property was built in 1965 and has been managed by the authority since 1995. Under the terms of the city's lease with the Housing Authority, the authority is responsible for leasing and managing the property. In recent years, there has been a growing concern about the condition of the stairwells there at the apartments, particularly those that serve, obviously, the second floor of the apartments. The Housing Authority has undertaken preservation measures, including welding and painting and patching, but the condition of the stairs has reached a point where they need to be replaced. So there are just numerous signs of deterioration, rust, sagging, and structural degradation. So city staff have been working with the Housing Authority to develop a scope and a plan for replacing these stairs and landings. The estimated cost to replace it is $1 million. So the two actions before you tonight is a budget amendment to appropriate the remaining balance in what used to be our rental rehabilitation fund, some old federal money. There's about $1.16 million balance remaining in that fund. So we would utilize those funds to address this issue, which really is in line with the original purpose of those funds for rental rehabilitation projects. And then the second item is a resolution that would authorize the city to enter into an agreement with the Housing Authority to be able to move forward with this project. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. It's somewhat of an emergency situation, it sounds like. Any questions, Mr. Rao? Councilmember McIntosh.
Can I get a quick history of why we own this building or these buildings?
Sorry.
Mr. Rao, can you comment on that?
We're not in the housing business, but.
Right. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not super familiar with the history of Plaza, so I'm going to defer to the manager on that one.
There you go.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, members of City Council, Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Back in the day, when we did an agreement to assist the Housing Authority with purchasing that property in the 90s, the way we structured that deed was because we provided a significant amount of money, loan money to the Housing Authority to rehab the property. We structured in such a way that until those loans are paid off and there's still some outstanding, we don't have a lien on the property. We actually own the property. So that's the way we're the deed of ownership. So the idea gives us more control, but it also gives us the liability as well.
How much longer is that note going to be out there? When will we be in a position where it's paid off and we can sell it?
In perpetuity.
Yeah, perpetuity. That's what I was afraid of.
I was going to be a little more diplomatic. Yeah, it's going to be a long time. I think honestly, eventually, we're going to have to look at a partnership for doing a lot more work on the units. But yeah, it's going to be a long time.
Okay. Any other questions? Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
It's 87 units. It's 87 units of real affordable housing. And as Mr. Garrity said, I was on the Housing Authority Commission as its chair when that deal was made back in 94, 3, somewhere along in there. It's always been the thought that the city has to play a role in affordable housing. And it might not have seemed like a good decision now, but back then it was. Because we weren't just protecting the affordability in the neighborhood from being displaced. And yes, gentrification. We bought in, we own it. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people found out when we had the issue a few years ago, 4 years ago, that we own it. No one can do anything to that property without us letting them. And the people that live there, as we all know, have been there for decades, some of them. Quick history, Councilmember McIntosh, when I was in college in the 70s, that was the main place to stay if you were young, upwardly mobile, African-American, working at Reynolds, going to Winston-Salem State, attending nursing school, working at Westinghouse, Weston Electric, and everywhere else in this city. The place was spectacular, the wooden floors, the room size, the ceiling heights. It was a 20-something, 30-something-year-old haven to the middle housing to now go get you a house. But when the city manager, Mr. Rao, approached me about the situation, they knew what my response was going to be. We're the landlord. So we could not allow anything to happen there that's particularly jeopardizes the safety of our tenants and clients and citizens. So I suggested and directed that is those that have served with me, safety first, at any cost. Safety first. And that's why this item is before you today.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I move for approval of this item.
Okay, so second.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Councilor McIntosh. Councilor Scipio.
I'm sorry, I'm having some technical problems today, but is the I heard the $1 million for the stairs, but there was a second resolution I heard. Was there a second resolution for something else as part of this?
Part of Mr. Rao, would you clarify what the second piece is?
Yes, sir. So, Councilmember Scipio, the resolution just authorizes the city to enter into an agreement with the Housing Authority to move forward with this project.
And so does that mean the housing authority then will be responsible for getting a contractor and doing all of the repairs, and we're just providing the funds for that?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Councilman Mundy.
A couple of questions. Thank you. Just so I can understand. So this building does generate revenue. Is the building a liability or asset for us under normal circumstances in the run of a year? Does the city get the revenue that does come in from the rent?
Goes to the Housing Authority.
So, Councilmember Mundy, I mean, looking at the action item, it indicates that historically the apartments have not broken even, and that the operations have been subsidized by the Housing Authority.
Okay, then a follow-up question is, are there more of these in the city that I don't know about and possibly other council members don't know about? Or is this a unique circumstance?
I would have to research that, Councilmember Mundy.
Councilmember Mundy, I think this is the last one. We had some others that I believe we sold, but I think this is the last one.
Okay. I just think that if we had more that are, repairs coming due, that becomes a significant budget issue, but this does sound like a one-off.
And I would add, it is an emergency. I was out there and I need to slim down before I get on some of those balconies right now. So we need to get them repaired soon.
We're the landlord.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes. I believe
Councilmember Clark, we can't really hear it.
I think it was about 4 years ago, Baldwin brought us a proposal to buy it. At the same time, Wake Forest was looking at developing. You can't hear me? Hello?
You can't, Councilmember Clark.
In and out.
He needs tech support.
Councilmember Clark, I'm going to run on and then I'll circle back to you, Councilmember Larson, and I'll come back to Councilmember McIntosh.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. After Mayor Pro Tem's eloquent description of the apartment complex that she enjoyed, I would have appreciated.
Can you hear me now? You can't hear me?
Hang on just a minute, Councilmember Clark. Go ahead, Councilmember Larson.
Yes, I would have appreciated from now on if we could get an image when we spend $1 million on a piece of property that we get a picture of it. Other than that, I'm totally in favor of this.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Clark. I'll go to Councilmember McIntosh.
Yeah, I'm a landlord. This is not a.
Hang on a minute.
The money needs to be spent. Maybe Councilmember Clark can call in on a phone.
Yeah, hang on just a minute, Councilmember Clark. Go ahead, Councilmember McIntosh.
The money obviously needs to be spent. I guess my concern is that we find a way to not keep ourselves in a position of having to continue to spend money on the project. I mean, it's not our business. It's not what we do. It would be great to get this into the hands, get some capital maybe from state, federal government, whatever, put us in a position to get out of this without too much of a haircut.
Thank you, Councilmember McIntosh. I'm seeing Councilmember Clark, I believe, is called in.
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Hang on a minute. I'm moving. I'm on my phone now. Can you hear me?
Okay,
now?
we got you. We got you now, Councilmember.
Move away
What I was going to say. Hang on a minute. What I was going to say. Hey, let me go cut my computer off. I got two computers going.
Sound good now.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Clark.
Okay, what I was going to say, about 4 years ago, Lou Baldwin brought us a proposal to buy these apartments. But coinciding with that, Wake Forest was putting together a proposal to do a major redo of the Thurman Street area. And it kind of got tied up in all that, and then the neighborhood kind of felt like they got blindsided by Wake Forest. It just kind of all fell apart. But we did actually get a proposal, and I think we could get one if we wanted to. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. All right, we do have a motion to approve this expenditure of funds, and as well as a motion to approve the contract with the Housing Authority, or authorize the staff to negotiate a contract. Any further discussion? All right, go to the roll call. The yes vote approves the expenditure of the money, as well as the authorization to negotiate a contract. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Mundy.
Aye.
Councilman Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilman Taylor.
Yes.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilman Burke.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's unanimous to move forward with this work. All right, item Z13.
Item Z13, Mayor George's recommendation for appointment to the Bicycle Pedestrian Active Mobility Committee. Carol Hoover, term expiring August 2022.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank
Second, Mundy.
Thank you, Councilman Mundy. Any discussion? All right, go to the roll call. A yes vote on this approves Ms. Hoover for a term. By the way, the reason this is a very short term is the fact she's filling a vacancy for someone who left the committee, then she'd be eligible for reappointment next year. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Mundy.
Aye.
Councilman Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilman Taylor. Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilman Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Item Z14.
Item Z14, Mayor Joyce's recommendation for reappointment to the Citizens Review Board, Leotis Chund, term expiring April 2024.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Burke, Councilman Burke. Any further discussion? All right, yes vote approves Mr. Chun for Citizens Review Board. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Mundy.
Aye.
Councilman Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilman Taylor. Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilman Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That's unanimous. Item Z15.
Z15, Mayor Joyce's recommendation for appointment to the Commission of Ending Homelessness, Cynthia W. Jeffries, Robert L. Martin, and Tawana Roebuck, all with terms expiring January 2024.
Is there a
Move
motion?
for approval.
Thank you.
Second, Burke.
Thank you, Councilman Burke and Councilman Scipio. Any discussion? All right, a yes vote approves these individuals for appointment to the Commission on Ending Homelessness. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Mundy.
Aye.
Councilman Scipio.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Councilman Taylor.
Yes.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilman Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous. Item Z16.
Item Z16, Mayor Joyce's recommendations for reappointment to the Recreation and Parks Commission, George Peterson, Sherry Ingram, Robert Hartwell, John Krantz, and Joseph Cassidy, all terms expiring May 2024.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Move for approval. Scipio.
Thank you, Councilmember Larson and Scipio moved approval almost simultaneously. Is there a second?
Second, Burke.
Thank you, Councilman Burke. Any discussion? All right, a yes vote approves these individuals' appointment to the Recreation and Parks Commission. Councilman Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mundy,
Aye.
Councilmember Scipio,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntosh,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Council members, I know Councilmember Clark may want to mention the Finance Committee budget workshop on Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Yes, we will continue our discussions on the budget and everyone is invited.
Thank you, Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Scipio.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just to remind everybody that Saturday, June the 12th, we're having the dedication and ribbon cutting of the new Happy Hill Park. So please come out at 10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember. All right, without objection, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second Monday.
Thank you, Councilmember Mundy. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to rezoning, please say, I'm rezoning. Say no. I got a unanimous vote to adjourn. Thank you all very much and have a good evening.
Good evening.